Commander Juwan Park felt a cold anger rise inside her as she stood before the Galactic Council. The giant room, with its high ceiling and curved walls, held representatives from 27 alien species. None of them looked at her with respect. "The motion passes," announced the council leader, a tall blue-skinned being. "Earth's expansion into Orion sector is hereby limited to current holdings. No new planets may be claimed." Juwan kept her face neutral even as her hands tightened into fists at her sides. Humans had spent 50 years developing the Orion sector. Now, just as those investments were about to pay off, the Council had moved to block them. "Commander Park, does Earth wish to make a final statement?" asked the Council leader. Juwan stepped forward. At 42, she had served as Earth's military liaison to the Council for 3 years. She knew how they saw humans, as newcomers, as lesser beings who had only achieved faster-than-light travel a century ago. "Earth notes the Council's decision," she said carefully. "We ask that you reconsider. The Orion sector has been developed with human blood and treasure. We have followed all Council protocols." A Thraki representative, his insect-like mandibles clicking, spoke up. "The concern is not about protocols, Commander. It is about resource management. Humans expand too quickly, consume too rapidly." This was a lie, and everyone in the room knew it. The real issue was that human colonies were succeeding where other species had failed. The Council feared human growth. "The decision stands," said the Council leader. "This meeting is adjourned." Juwan returned to her small quarters aboard the Earth diplomatic vessel Concordia. She stared out the viewport at the massive Council station. The structure looked like a giant metal flower, with petals extending outward to house various diplomatic missions. Her communication panel chimed. "Incoming transmission from Earth Command," the ship's computer announced. Admiral Do-Yeon Lee's weathered face appeared on the screen. His expression told her he already knew the result. "They voted against us," Juwan reported anyway. 17-10. The Voldarians pushed it through. Admiral Lee sighed. "Expected, but disappointing. Return to Earth immediately, Commander. The President wants a full briefing." The journey back to Earth took 3 days. Juwan spent most of it reviewing data and preparing her report. The Orion sector contained 12 habitable planets that humans had been terraforming. Billions of credits invested, thousands of colonists already living there. The economic impact would be severe. Earth's gleaming orbital stations came into view as the Concordia approached. In the century since humans had joined the galactic community, Earth had transformed. The once polluted planet now showed healthy blue oceans and green continents. Orbital habitats housed millions. President Taeyong Kang received Juwan in his office atop the United Earth Government Tower in New Seoul. Large windows showed the rebuilt city spreading out below, a mix of ancient temples and modern structures. "Tell me everything, Commander," the President said after they sat down. "Leave nothing out." Juwan explained the Council proceedings in detail. "The Voldarians orchestrated it," she concluded. "They've been losing mining contracts to our companies for years. This is their revenge." The President listened without interrupting. When she finished, he turned to Admiral Lee, who was also present. "Your assessment, Admiral." "Economic projections are grim," Mr. President, Lee said. "We've invested too heavily in Orion. Without expansion rights, those investments won't return value. Unemployment could rise to 12% within a year." President Kang walked to the window. For a long moment, he stared out at the city. "The Council thinks we will accept this," he said finally. "They believe humans are weak because we seek peace." "They misunderstand us," Juwan said. "They think our diplomacy comes from weakness, not strength." The President nodded. "Throughout our history, humans have been most dangerous when cornered." He turned to face them. "I've studied the other species. None of them evolved as we did, as prey animals that became predators. They don't understand what happens when humans feel threatened." "What are your orders, sir?" Admiral Lee asked. "Implement Protocol Theta," the President said. Quietly, Juan felt her breath catch. Protocol Theta was a contingency plan developed after Earth joined the galactic community. It called for rapid military buildup disguised as civilian projects. And diplomatically, she asked. We'll make the expected appeals, President Kang said. 3 formal protests, spaced 1 month apart. The Council will reject them all. That will give us the time we need. 2 days later, Juan found herself back before the Earth Security Council. Military and civilian leaders filled the room. Our shipyards will convert to military production, Defense Minister Minho explained, pointing to holographic displays. But we'll classify everything as deep space exploration vessels to avoid triggering Council monitors. What about the quantum drive research? Asked a general. Dr. Yuma Choi, head of Earth's Advanced Physics Division, stepped forward. We're close to a breakthrough. Dr. Hyun's team believes they can have a working prototype in 8 months. The Council believes that technology is centuries away, Juan noted. They're wrong, Dr. Choi said simply. As the meeting continued, Juan studied the plans. Earth was preparing for a confrontation that could change the galaxy forever. Not through violence. Humans had learned the costliness of war, but through a demonstration of strength that could not be ignored. Over the next months, Juan made the formal appeals to the Council as planned. Each was rejected with increasing dismissiveness. The Vuldarian representative, Lord Keth, was particularly condescending. Humans must learn patience, he told her after the 3rd rejection. Your species is too young to understand galactic stability. Juan smiled politely. We understand more than you think, Lord Keth. Meanwhile, Earth's factories worked day and night. Space docks built ships with hidden weapon systems. Research labs made breakthrough after breakthrough. 6 months after the Council's decision, Earth's economy was struggling. Protests occurred in major cities. The alien representatives noted these signs with satisfaction, believing Earth was accepting its reduced status. Only one alien seemed concerned. The ancient Mithrani ambassador, whose species had known humans since Earth's first steps into space, watched the situation with growing alarm. You do not understand what humans are capable of, he warned the Council in a closed session. I have seen their history. When humans unite against a threat, they become something else entirely. The Council ignored him. The Vuldarians pushed for even stricter limits on human activities. On Earth, the final preparations were being made. Juan attended the launch of the first ship equipped with Dr. Hyun's quantum displacement drive. The technology would allow ships to appear anywhere in the galaxy instantly, without using traditional jump gates that the Council controlled. Remember, President Kang told her before she boarded the diplomatic vessel returning her to the Council, we don't seek war. We seek respect. As her ship departed Earth, Juan looked back at her home planet. The Council had made a fundamental error. They had studied human technology, human biology, and human economics. But they had never truly understood human psychology, especially what happens when humans get mad. The aliens were about to learn. Admiral Taewoo Kim stood at the large viewport of his office in Earth's orbital command center. Below him, the blue-green planet spun slowly. Lights from cities glittered across its dark side. He rubbed his tired eyes and turned back to his desk where 3 rejected appeal documents lay. 3 tries, he muttered. 3 formal appeals, all rejected. His aide, Lieutenant Jisoo, entered the room with a fresh cup of coffee. The Vuldarian representative has sent his response to our 3rd appeal, sir. Admiral Kim took the coffee with a nod of thanks. Let me guess. Another lecture. Yes, sir. He says that humans must learn to manage their resources better and control their impulsive tendencies to expand. The Admiral's mouth tightened into a thin line. Impulsive. We spent 50 years carefully developing the Orient sector. Every step was planned and approved by their own regulatory bodies. He took a sip of coffee. Has President Kang made his decision? Yes, sir. Protocol Thermopylae is now active. Admiral Kim set down his cup. Protocol Thermopylae had been developed 20 years ago, but never implemented. Named after an ancient Earth battle where a small force had stood against overwhelming odds, it was a plan for rapid military buildup in case of galactic isolation. Send word to all Earth colonies. All communications about Thermopylae must use the established code words. The Council has ears everywhere. Already done, sir, replied Lieutenant Jisu. The shipyards at Luna and Mars have already begun converting to the new production templates. Admiral Kim nodded. And Dr. Hun's project? Making rapid progress. The quantum displacement drive prototype is ahead of schedule. For the first time that day, Admiral Kim smiled. Good. We'll need that advantage. The next morning, Admiral Kim led a conference call with Earth's military leaders. Generals and admirals from various branches appeared as holograms around his conference table. Production conversion is at 30%, reported General Minji Han of Earth Defense. We're keeping the factory exteriors unchanged to avoid satellite detection, but the interiors are being completely rebuilt. What about our fleet? Asked Admiral Kim. The civilian ships are being retrofitted in deep space locations, replied Admiral Chunoli. We're adding concealed weapon systems and improved shields. From the outside, they'll look the same. And the Council suspects nothing. Intelligence Director Sun Woo Choi spoke up. Their monitors have noticed increased activity, sir, but our cover story is working. They believe we're restructuring our economy to adjust to the Orion restrictions. Only the Mithrani seem concerned, added Lieutenant Jisu. Their ambassador has been asking questions about our industrial activities. Admiral Kim wasn't surprised. The Mithrani were the oldest species in the Council and had been the first aliens to contact Earth a century ago. They understood humans better than most. Keep the Mithrani ambassador satisfied but uninformed, he ordered. We need more time. Over the next months, Earth transformed. Factory complexes that once made civilian goods now produced military components disguised as everyday items. Shipyards built vessels with hidden capabilities. Research labs worked around the clock on technologies the Council believed were centuries beyond human understanding. Admiral Kim visited one such factory in what had once been called Korea. The massive building had previously manufactured passenger shuttles for travel between Earth and its colonies. Now, it made advanced fighters designed to overcome Voldarian defenses. How long until this batch is complete? He asked the factory manager. 2 weeks, sir, the woman replied. We're working triple shifts. Workers moved with purpose across the factory floor. Despite the pressure, there was no panic or chaos. Earth's population had united behind the effort with quiet determination. The aliens think we're having an economic crisis, the manager said, gesturing to the busy factory. They don't understand that humans work best under pressure. Admiral Kim nodded. Keep up the good work. Back at Orbital Command, Admiral Kim received a concerning report. Council observers had requested permission to inspect several Earth facilities. They claim it's a routine check, explained Lieutenant Jisu. But the timing is suspicious. Which facilities? Asked the Admiral. 2 shipyards and a research lab, all involved in Thermopylae. Admiral Kim thought quickly. Allow the inspections, but activate smoke screen protocols. Make sure they see exactly what we want them to see. When the alien inspectors arrived, they were shown carefully prepared facilities. Hidden walls concealed military production. Research data was temporarily replaced with civilian projects. Workers had been coached on what to say. The lead inspector, a Voldarian with pale green skin, seemed disappointed by the tour's end. Your factories appear to be struggling, he noted with poorly hidden satisfaction. The Council's decision regarding Orion has affected our economy, Admiral Kim replied calmly. As you expected it would. The Voldarian made a sound that might have been a laugh. Perhaps now humans will learn to accept their proper place in the galactic order. After the inspectors left, Admiral Kim received a private message. The Mithrani ambassador requested a meeting, alone and off the record. They met at a small orbital restaurant known for its privacy. The ancient Mithrani, with his translucent skin and wise eyes, studied Admiral Kim carefully. "I have lived for 300 of your years, Admiral," the Mithrani said softly. "I have known humans since your species first left your solar system." Admiral Kim waited, saying nothing. "The Council believes they understand humans," the Mithrani continued. "They think you are simple creatures, technically clever, but predictable." He leaned closer. "I know better." "Do you?" Admiral Kim kept his face neutral. "I have studied your history. I know what happens when humans are backed into a corner." The Mithrani's eyes seemed to glow slightly. "I have warned the Council, but they do not listen. They have never seen humans when they are truly angry. I have." Admiral Kim raised an eyebrow. "And what did you see?" "I saw determination unlike anything in the galaxy. I saw creativity born from desperation. Most importantly, I saw unity of purpose that overcame all internal differences." The Mithrani sighed. "Whatever you are planning, Admiral, I hope it does not lead to war." "War benefits no one," Admiral Kim agreed, "but neither does subjugation." As they parted, the Mithrani gave him a formal vow. "May wisdom guide your actions, Admiral." That evening, Admiral Kim received the news he had been waiting for. Dr. Hyun's team had successfully tested the quantum displacement drive. A ship had disappeared from Earth orbit and reappeared near Jupiter instantly, without using a jump gate. He immediately contacted President Kang. "It works," he reported. "The drive works." The president's face showed relief. "Then we are ready for the next phase." Admiral Kim looked out at the stars. The Council, especially the Voldarians, believed they had put humans in their place. They thought humans would accept their reduced status with resignation. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Dr. Min Jin-hyun stood before the gathered military leaders in Earth's most secure facility, deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. His hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from excitement. Years of work had led to this moment. "The quantum displacement drive is ready," he announced. "We have completed 50 successful tests." President Kang nodded solemnly. "Explain it one more time, Doctor." "In simple terms." Dr. Hyun pointed to the large display showing a complex device. "Traditional space travel requires ships to use jump gates. These gates are controlled by the Council. Our new drive lets ships move instantly between any 2 points in space without gates. No fuel trails, no energy signatures. They simply disappear here and appear there." Admiral Ji-hoon, who had replaced Admiral Kim as Earth's military commander, stepped forward. "And the Council believes this technology is impossible." "Yes," Dr. Hyun replied. "Their scientists calculated that such technology is at least 500 years beyond current science. They are wrong." The room fell silent as everyone absorbed the implications. Earth had developed a technology that would change the balance of power in the galaxy. "The ships are ready?" President Kang asked. Admiral Ji-hoon nodded. 3 battleships have been equipped with the drive. Thunder, Lightning, and Storm. Each carries a crew of 200. They look like standard exploratory vessels from the outside, but contain our most advanced weapon systems, which they will not use, President Kang emphasized. "This is a demonstration, not an attack." The meeting concluded with the final approval for Operation Skyfall. 3 days later, Dr. Hyun watched as the 3 battleships prepared for their historic mission. The launch facility was hidden inside an asteroid in the outer solar system. Dr. Hyun stood in the control room with Admiral Ji-hoon and Commander Juwon Park, who had returned from her diplomatic post to join the mission. "All ships report ready, sir," said a young officer at the communication station. Admiral Ji-hoon turned to Commander Park. "Are you sure you want to be on the first ship? This has never been done at this distance before." Commander Park smiled thinly. "I spent 3 years listening to the Voldarians tell me what humans could and couldn't do. I want to see their faces when we prove them wrong." The Admiral nodded, then addressed the room. "Begin countdown." Dr. Hyun moved to his station, where he would monitor the drive's performance. The technology was revolutionary, but also dangerous if miscalculated. A ship could materialize inside a planet or star. "Coordinates locked for Voldarian home system," reported the navigation officer. "Targeting empty space 5,000 kilometers from their defense headquarters." The final seconds ticked down. Dr. Hyun held his breath. "Displacement in 3, 2, 1. Execute." On the main screen, the 3 massive battleships shimmered and vanished. One moment they were there, the next gone, without flash or sound. "Displacement successful," Dr. Hyun reported, checking his instruments. "Drive functioning within expected parameters." Now they could only wait. The ships would either appear at their destination or be lost forever. Aboard the Thunder, Commander Park felt a strange sensation, as if her body had been taken apart and reassembled in an instant. The view screen showed unfamiliar stars. "Position?" asked Captain Do-hyun, the ship's commander. "Exactly where we aimed, sir," replied the navigation officer, her voice filled with wonder. "We're in Voldarian space, 5,000 kilometers from their defense headquarters." Commander Park moved to the viewport and looked out at the Voldarian homeworld. The green-blue planet was surrounded by defense platforms and patrol ships. None were pointed in their direction. They hadn't been detected yet. "Activate signal beacon," ordered Captain Do-hyun. "Let them know we're here." Within minutes, alarms rang across Voldarian space. Patrol ships scrambled toward the 3 human vessels that had appeared impossibly without using jump gates. The Voldarian defense grid, considered impenetrable, had been bypassed completely. On the defense headquarters station, Lord Keth, head of the Voldarian military, and the same representative who had dismissed human appeals, stared at the screen in disbelief. "Impossible," he whispered. "They can't be here. Our sensors would have detected their approach." "No approach detected, my lord," reported a nervous officer. "They simply appeared." "Open a channel," Lord Keth ordered, "and charge weapons." Commander Park received the incoming message. "The Voldarians are hailing us, Captain." On screen, Captain Do-hyun replied calmly. Lord Keth's face appeared, his green skin now pale with shock or anger. "This is restricted space. How did you get past our defense grid?" Captain Do-hyun responded politely. "We apologize for the unexpected visit, Lord Keth. We're demonstrating our new quantum displacement drive. It allows us to travel without jump gates." "Lies," Lord Keth sputtered. "Such technology is centuries beyond your capability." "Evidently not," Commander Park said, stepping into view. "The Council has underestimated humanity for the last time." An emergency session of the Galactic Council was called within hours. The 3 human ships remained in Voldarian space, ignoring demands to leave. More patrol ships surrounded them, but none dared fire. Admiral Ji-hoon arrived at the Council station via traditional transport. As Earth's military leader, he would address the Council directly. The Council chamber was filled with representatives from all 27 species, many showing signs of anxiety. The Council leader, visibly shaken, opened the session. "We are here to address an unprecedented situation. 3 human military vessels have appeared in Voldarian space without using approved travel methods." Admiral Ji-hoon stepped to the speaking platform. At 60 years old, with gray hair and a weathered face, he projected calm authority. "Esteemed Council members," he began, "for 1,000 years, you've known humans as traders, explorers, and diplomats. Today you'll learn what humanity becomes when pushed too far." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Admiral Ji-hoon continued, "The quantum displacement drive is only one of several technologies Earth has developed in recent months. Technologies you believed were beyond our reach." He activated a holographic display showing the human ships in Voldarian space. "Our ships carry no hostile intent. They have not fired a single shot, though they could have appeared inside your defense perimeter rather than outside it." The Voldarian representative jumped to his feet. "This is a military threat. a violation of Council law. No, Admiral Jihoon replied calmly. It is a demonstration. Earth developed this technology legally, using our own resources and knowledge. We are sharing this demonstration as a courtesy. A courtesy, echoed the Council leader. Yes, because Earth is at a crossroads. Admiral Jihoon looked each Council member in the eye. The restrictions on Orion sector will be lifted, or Earth will no longer recognize Council authority. Shocked silence followed this statement. It was unprecedented. No species had ever threatened to leave the Council. The Mithrani ambassador spoke up. What exactly would that mean, Admiral? It would mean Earth and its colonies would operate independently. Our ships would travel where they wished using our new drive. Our colonies would expand according to our own plans. Admiral Jihoon paused. It would mean the end of human participation in Council trade, defense, and diplomatic agreements. The Council chamber erupted in voices. The implications were enormous. Human goods have become essential to many economies. Human soldiers served in joint defense forces throughout the galaxy. The Council leader called for order. This is coercion, Admiral. This is negotiation, Admiral Jihoon corrected. Between equals. He let his words sink in before continuing. Earth has never wanted conflict. We seek cooperation and peace, but we will not accept being treated as lesser beings. He gestured to the display showing the human ships. Those vessels will remain in position for 24 hours. Then they will return to Earth using the quantum drive. When they leave, the Council must decide. Will you work with humans as equals, or will you force us to walk our own path? As Admiral Jihoon left the chamber, he heard the heated debate begin. Earth had made its point without firing a shot. The ships didn't need to attack. Their very presence, the impossible made possible, was message enough. The galaxy was about to change. The Galactic Council chamber had never been so loud. Representatives from 27 species shouted over each other as emergency reports flooded in. On the main display, red dots appeared across a star map, each one a human ship that had suddenly materialized in critical locations throughout Council space. 17 human vessels have appeared near the Centauri jump gate, called out a reptilian aid. 2 more at the Proxima fuel depot, shouted another. The Council leader banged his ceremonial staff against the floor repeatedly. Order. We must have order. As the noise finally died down, Lord Keth of the Voldarian Imperium rose to speak. His green skin had a pale, sickly tint. This is a coordinated attack, he declared. The humans have revealed their true nature. They must be stopped before they can strike. The Mithrani ambassador shook his ancient head slowly. They have not fired a single shot, Lord Keth. If attack was their intention, they could have appeared inside our defense perimeters rather than outside them. Then what do you call this? Lord Keth pointed angrily at the map showing human ships positioned near critical points throughout Council space. They are targeting our infrastructure. They are demonstrating capability, corrected the Mithrani. There is a difference. In a secure room adjacent to the Council chamber, Captain Minji Lee of Earth Intelligence monitored the debate through hidden sensors. She had been stationed at the Council hub for years, gathering information. Now her role had shifted to observer, reporting back to Earth on the Council's reaction. Her communication device buzzed. It was a secure line to Admiral Jihoon. Report, came the Admiral's voice. The Council is in chaos. Captain Lee replied quietly. The Voldarians are pushing for military action, but most species seem hesitant. They're frightened, sir. And our ships. All in position. No aggressive moves from Council forces yet, except for some Voldarian patrol ships moving to intercept near their home system. Admiral Jihoon was silent for a moment. The Voldarians were always the most likely to escalate. Keep me informed. Near the Voldarian homeworld, Commander Juwan Park stood on the Bridge of the Thunder as 6 Voldarian warships approached in attack formation. They're charging weapons, Commander, reported her tactical officer. Commander Park nodded calmly. Activate defensive systems only. No offensive measures unless I give the command. The Thunder and its sister ships, Lightning and Storm, remained motionless as the Voldarian vessels surrounded them. A communication came through. Human vessels, this is Commander Vrek of the Voldarian Defense Force. You are in restricted space. Power down your systems and prepare to be boarded, or we will open fire. Commander Park exchanged glances with Captain Doyon before responding. Voldarian vessels, this is Commander Park. We are here on a diplomatic mission approved by Earth Command. We have no hostile intent. You have 10 seconds to comply, came the reply. Commander Park sighed. Defensive measures only, she reminded her crew. Remember your training. The seconds ticked by. On the view screen, they could see the Voldarian ship's weapon ports beginning to glow with energy. Shields at maximum, ordered Captain Doyon. The first Voldarian shots streaked across space toward the human ships. They struck the Thunder shields, which flared bright blue but held firm. More shots followed from all 6 Voldarian ships. Shields holding at 95%, reported the defense officer. They're using standard plasma cannons. Commander Park nodded. Deploy countermeasures Type 1. Small devices launched from the Thunder's hull, speeding toward the Voldarian ships. They weren't weapons, but rather specialized technology developed in Earth's secret labs. As they reached the Voldarian vessels, they attached to their hulls and activated. The effect was immediate. The Voldarian ship's weapons powered down. Their engines sputtered and stopped. They drifted, dead in space. What did we just do to them? Asked a young officer. Energy dampening field, explained Captain Doyon. It temporarily disables their systems without harming the crew. They'll regain power in about 30 minutes. Commander Park opened a channel to the Lid Voldarian ship. Voldarian vessels, this is Commander Park. Your ships will regain power shortly. We have not damaged your vessels or harmed your crews. Consider this a demonstration of restraint, not aggression. Back at the Council Hub, footage of the brief encounter spread rapidly through official and unofficial channels. Captain Minji Lee watched as delegates viewed the recording with shocked expressions. 6 minutes, murmured a council aide near her. It took them 6 minutes to disable an entire battle group without destroying a single ship. Lord Keth stormed into the main chamber, having just received the report. The humans have attacked our ships. This is an act of war. The footage played on the main screen, showing clearly that the Voldarians had fired first. The council leader raised his hands for silence. The evidence suggests your ships initiated hostilities, Lord Keth, he said carefully. The human response appears to have been measured. Measured? Lord Keth spat the word. They paralyzed 6 warships. Without casualties, noted the Mithrani ambassador, without permanent damage. That is restraint few would show when fired upon. Other representatives began to speak up now, many withdrawing their support for the Voldarian position. The Thraki representative, who had previously backed the restrictions, addressed the council. Perhaps we have misunderstood the humans, he said, mandibles clicking nervously. They have shown both advanced technology and disciplined response. These are not the actions of an impulsive species. Lord Keth looked around the chamber, realizing he was losing support. You are all fools. The humans are showing us only what they want us to see. If we yield now, they will demand more tomorrow. What terrifies you more, Lord Keth? Asked the Mithrani. Their weapons, or the control with which they use them? The question hung in the air. Captain Lee noted how it affected the gathered representatives. The demonstration had achieved exactly what Earth had intended. The aliens weren't just impressed by human technology. They were shaken by the discipline behind it. On Earth, Admiral Jihoon and President Kang watched the council proceedings through Captain Lee's feed. They sat in the secure command center beneath the Pacific. It's working, the Admiral said quietly. The Voldarians are being isolated. President Kang nodded. What concerns them isn't that we can fight. It's that we choose not to when we could. Controlled rage, Admiral Jihoon said. That's what the Mithrani once called it. the human ability to feel anger but channel it precisely. Reports continued to come in from human ships throughout Council space. None had fired a weapon. None had been attacked after the Voldarian incident. They simply maintained position, a silent reminder of Earth's new capabilities. A message arrived from Captain Lee. Council calling emergency vote. Voldarian motion for military action against Earth rejected 23-4. New motion to reconsider Orion restrictions introduced by Thraki representative. President Kang allowed himself a small smile. Send word to all ships. Maintain positions but begin preparations for withdrawal on my command. I want to be ready to bring everyone home once the Council votes. Admiral Ji-hoon relayed the orders, then turned back to the President. Do you think they understand yet? What happens when humans get mad? They're beginning to, President Kang replied. Anger doesn't make us reckless. It makes us focused. Across the galaxy, Council species watched with new understanding as human ships held their positions with perfect discipline. The message was clear. Earth would not accept being treated as inferior. It would not fire the first shot. But if pushed, it would demonstrate power with surgical precision. What truly frightened the Council wasn't human weapons or technology. It was the cold efficiency with which they operated, the product of a species that had learned to harness its emotions rather than be ruled by them. The age of underestimating humanity was over. Commander Subin stood at the window of her new office in the Galactic Council hub. 3 months had passed since the event now called the demonstration. Her reflection showed a woman in her 40s wearing the dark blue uniform of Earth Command, now adorned with the gold pins of Earth's chief representative. The door chimed softly. Enter, she called. Captain Minji Lee walked in, carrying a data tablet. The final draft of the revised charter has been approved by President Kang, she reported. All Earth colonies have signaled their agreement. Subin nodded and took the tablet. And the Council. 25 species have already signed. The Voldarians and Thraki will sign tomorrow at the ceremony. The Voldarians held out until the very end, Subin observed with a small smile. Pride dies hard. They had little choice after losing the support of their traditional allies. Captain Lee replied. The new trade agreements would have left them isolated. Subin reviewed the document that would reshape humanity's place in the galaxy. The revised charter granted Earth not just the originally contested Orion sector, but also rights to explore and settle 3 additional sectors previously under Council restriction. Humanity would hold 3 permanent seats on the Council instead of 1. Most importantly, Earth would maintain independent control of its quantum displacement technology. A lot has changed in 3 months, Subin said. Captain Lee nodded. I've served at this station for 7 years. I've never seen the Council move so quickly on anything. Fear is a powerful motivator, Subin replied, though I prefer to think of it as respect. Later that day, Subin attended a diplomatic reception hosted by the Mithrani ambassador. Representatives from all species mingled in the elegant chamber, though she noticed many still kept a respectful distance from the human delegation. The ancient Mithrani ambassador approached her, his translucent skin glowing softly in the dim light. Commander Subin, he greeted her warmly. Or should I say Council representative now? Subin is fine, Ambassador, she replied with a smile. Titles change, people remain the same. Do they? The Mithrani asked with gentle humor. I think many here would disagree. They see humans quite differently now. Subin looked around the room. Where once human delegates had been treated with polite dismissal, now they received careful attention. Several alien representatives were deep in conversation with members of the Earth delegation. They fear us, she said quietly. They respect you, the Mithrani corrected. There is a difference, though the line can be thin. Across the room, Lord Keth of the Voldarians watched the human delegates with barely concealed resentment. His once powerful faction within the Council had collapsed after the demonstration. Not everyone shares that respect, Subin noted, glancing toward the Voldarian. The Mithrani followed her gaze. Lord Keth committed the greatest error in politics. He underestimated his opponent. He believed humans were technically clever, but psychologically simple. A common misconception. Subin agreed. I tried to warn them, the Mithrani said, his voice carrying a hint of satisfaction. I told the council that they did not understand what happens when humans are truly angry. And what is that, in your view? Subin asked, curious about the ancient being's perspective. Most species in the galaxy react to anger with immediate aggression or retreat, the Mithrani explained. Humans channel it, store it, transform it into determination and precision. He made a gesture that might have been a shrug. It is both fascinating and terrifying. The signing ceremony the next day was held in the Grand Council chamber. Representatives from all 27 species gathered to witness the formal adoption of the revised charter. President Kang had traveled from Earth for the occasion, a rare honor that emphasized the importance of the moment. As tradition dictated, representatives signed an order of their species admission to the council. The Mithrani, as founding members, signed first. The Voldarians, once proud of their early membership, signed with visible reluctance. Earth, as a relatively new member, signed near the end. When it was her turn, Subin approached the ancient document. She took the ceremonial pen and signed her name with steady strokes. As she stepped back, she caught President Kang's approving nod. The council leader raised the charter for all to see. With these signatures, we begin a new chapter in galactic cooperation, he announced. The revised charter recognizes the evolving nature of our community and the important contributions of all member species. The carefully diplomatic words didn't mention the real reason for the changes, but everyone knew. The galaxy's power balance had shifted. After the ceremony, Subin found herself approached by a young Voldarian diplomat, not Lord Keth, but one of his junior staff. Commander Subin, he said stiffly, my superior wishes to convey that the Voldarian Imperium looks forward to improved relations with Earth. Subin recognized the difficult position the young diplomat was in. Please tell Lord Keth that Earth has always valued Voldarian culture and technology. We seek partnership, not dominance. The Voldarian seemed surprised by her gracious response. I will convey your message, he said, bowing slightly before departing. Captain Lee, who had overheard the exchange, raised an eyebrow. Generous of you. Vengeance is poor diplomacy, Subin replied. Besides, we've made our point. That evening, Subin addressed the full council in her new role as Earth's chief representative. As she looked out at the gathered delegates, she realized that many were seeing humans, truly seeing them, for the first time. The events of recent months have changed perceptions, she began. Some have come to fear humanity. Others have come to respect us. Both reactions stem from the same misunderstanding. The chamber was completely silent as she continued. Humans aren't dangerous because we get angry. We're dangerous because we decide when, where, and how that anger is expressed. She paused, letting the words sink in. Our emotions don't control us. They fuel us. Our passions don't make us impulsive. They make us determined. Several council members shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Earth doesn't seek dominance, Subin assured them. We never have. We seek partnership with those who respect us and distance from those who don't. The choice has always been yours. After the session, President Kang congratulated her on the speech. You struck the perfect tone, he said as they walked to the Earth delegation's offices, firm but not threatening. Do you think they understand now? Subin asked. Some do, the president replied. Others will need time. Perceptions built over decades don't change in months. 6 months later, Subin stood in the observation lounge of the council station, watching the stars. Earth ships now traveled freely through council space, using the quantum displacement drive. Human colonies in the Orient sector were thriving. Trade agreements had been renegotiated on more favorable terms. The Mithrani ambassador joined her at the viewport. Your people have adapted well to their new status, he observed. Humans are good at adapting, Subin replied. It's one of our strengths. Indeed, Perhaps the greatest lesson from recent events is not about human technology or military capability, but about human psychology. Subin turned to face the ancient being. What do you mean? For centuries, the council saw human emotions as a weakness, the Mithrani explained. Now they understand that those same emotions, properly channeled, are your greatest strength. Subin smiled. A fair assessment. The galaxy has learned an important lesson, the Mithrani said, his eyes reflecting the starlight. Never back humans into a corner unless you're prepared for what emerges when they fight their way out. As she looked back at the stars, Subin thought